The Sultan's wife prepares her ablutions in the great marble bathroom. Her attendants grind costly perfumes and arrange flowers, while she washes her hands and face with water that has been scented with rose petals. Outside, a cat jumps between marble columns, washing itself with delicate pink tongue. The women chatter softly as they arrange henna tattoos on the Sultan's wife's fingers, toes, and ankles. It is Friday afternoon, and soon the Sultan will come to her chambers after the midday prayer, and they will ride together to the mosque to hear the sermon. A boy hurries down a corridor, his bare feet slapping against the cool flagstones. He weaves around piles of cushions, avoiding the lazy cats until he reaches the open window where his friend awaits. The boy calls out a greeting and slips through the opening. His friend signs for silence, then motions with his eyes toward the procession winding its way through the inner courtyards. The boys press close to the wall, hiding among the cypresses until the procession passes. Then they slip out again, exchanging excited whispers. One of the guards must have dropped his pouch. Now that the Sultan is coming, everything must be ready for his arrival. The Hagia Sophia is full, but not quite full enough for the Sultan. He walks in state with his viziers and courtiers trailing behind him. His great beard sweeps the ground as he steps forward to stand in the special place reserved for him. When the time comes for the sermon, the Imam speaks not of God or the hereafter, but of the Sultan and his duty to rule wisely and justly. After the midday prayer, the Sultan rides back to the palace in state, stopping at each gate to allow the people to bow before him. His wife awaits him in the middle courtyard, pacing back and forth on the red carpet. When she sees him, she drops to her knees, and the Sultan helps her up, kissing her hand. She wears her finest gown, a thick brocade of gold and crimson, and her head is covered with a veil of fine linen. The two walk together through the great gate toward their private quarters, holding hands, smiling at each other. The court is over for now, and the rest of the day is theirs. They will sleep in the same room, their son and daughter, the heirs to the throne, sleeping soundly in chambers nearby. In the distance, the hammer blows of a metal worker echo off the high walls surrounding the city of Constantinople. Inside the palace, a young man draws water from the fountain. His copper bucket is already full, but he keeps drawing water as the old man watches him. The Sultan's wife leans out of an upstairs window and throws in handfuls of coins, laughing as the people below fight over the riches. Her ladies-in-waiting fan her with scented cloths as she watches the festivities in the courtyard. An old woman picks up a coin, eyes the other contenders, then runs away as fast as she can. The sun dips below the skyline, painting the heavens in shades of amber and rose. The first stars appear, winking at each other from their lofty homes in the velvet sky. High above the city, a breeze stirs the banners that fly from the ramparts of the great walls that protect Constantinople. On the ground, a dog trots beside a water carrier, guiding him to the fountain where they will both drink. In the old man's chambers, a chess game is laid out on a small table, but no one plays. The old man gazes absently at the pieces, his mind far away. The door opens and a young man enters. He asks the old man if he he wants anything from the kitchens, but the old man only shakes his head. He is waiting for someone else, someone who will come through the side door that is not meant to be used by anyone else but the Sultan. Soon the door will open, and the old man will rise from his seat. Without speaking, he and the man who has entered will change into different clothes. The old man will put on the rich robes of the Sultan, and the young man will take on the plain garments of the peasant. They will go out into the night, the real Sultan and his double, whose sole purpose is to lure assassins and madmen away from their true target. And so they swap places for the night, hoping the ruse will fool the enemy. Below the windows where the Sultan's wife watched the festivities, a group of men are preparing to put on a show for the Sultan's amusement. Strong men are flexing their muscles, testing their weapons, and checking their costumes. Others are more concerned with makeup, putting on elaborate faces, white and painted with black beards and eyebrows. They rehearse fighting, killing, and dying, all for the amusement of one man. As the audience takes their seats in the courtyard, the show begins. Across the city, the first call to prayer rings out, drifting between the tall buildings. In the royal kitchens, servants are piling up flatbreads, cucumbers, cheeses, and pomegranates on platters, covering tables with food for the evening meal. Cooks are stirring great cauldrons of soup, their spoons skimming the surface of the hot liquid to remove any scraps of fat or skin. In another part of the kitchen, layers of dough are carefully placed inside a mold, the cook smoothing it out with practiced hands. This is no ordinary bread. It is shaped like the crescent moon, a symbol of Islam. But not everyone is working. Some servants gossip in low voices. Others watch flies buzzing around the fruit, and one dozes in a corner. The kitchens of the Sultan are large and busy, and some find it hard to keep up. The cooks have to hurry, though. The Sultan expects his cucumbers chopped just so, his pomegranate seeds free of pith, and his flatbreads baked to perfection. If any dish is not ready when the time comes, the cook could be sent to join the row of heads decorating the walls. The Sultan paces in his long gallery, stopping every few steps to stare out of the window. In the distance, the dome of the Hagia Sophia is gilded with the light of sunset. He has been here so many times, and yet each view is different. How is it that he never tires of this sight? Each sunset brings a new beauty, a new peace. In the evenings, he comes here to think, to plan, to dream. His advisors know better than to interrupt him. What would the Sultan decide if he were to look up and see the walls of his empire crumbling? Would he turn away, or would he fix his gaze on the falling bricks and try to mend them? Would he listen to the murmurs of the wind and order new defenses built? Or would he stay stubbornly focused on the shimmering horizon? Or, perhaps, now that the Ottomans have reached the sea, would he gaze upon the map of Europe and wonder what it would be like to rule those Christian lands? Would he leave his legacy in the Golden Horn, or write it in the Tiber, in the Seine, or the Thames? So many questions, and so much time to ponder them. He turns away from the windows and looks at the rows of portraits on the walls. Each one is of a stern-faced man. Was he always like this, or did he once smile as freely as his ancestors had? The Sultan walks on his footsteps, echoing in the great hall. the setting sun painting long shadows at his feet. Below, on the shores of the Bosphorus, the light is fading. Soon, lanterns will flicker to life, and the stars will glitter in the velvety sky. But for now, there is time for thinking, for dreaming, for planning. There is time until the nightingale sings, and the world demands action once more. In the belly of the great Ottoman Empire, there was a place where time seemed to slow its relentless march. It was here that history was made, destinies were decided, and lives of unimaginable privilege and seclusion were lived. This was the legendary Topkapi Palace. Now, as the night deepens, the heart of the palace lies behind carved gates and guarded doors, the harems. To the outside world, it is a place of mystery, spoken of in whispers. Yet, within its walls, life is calm and ordinary, woven of family, tradition, and silence. In a marble courtyard, a fountain trickles softly, its sound mingling with the chirping of night insects. Lamps burn low along the walls, casting patterns on the blue and white Iznik tiles. Women move quietly from chamber to chamber, their footsteps muffled on carpets. Some carry baskets of embroidery, some hold trays with sweets or sherbet, and some walk slowly, speaking in hushed voices. In one chamber, the valid sultan, the sultan's mother, reclines on cushions. She is the most powerful woman in the empire, her word carrying weight in the council as much as in the harem. Tonight, however, she simply listens to music. A young girl plucks gently at an oud, the notes rising soft and steady, filling the room with calm. She plays without fuss or flourish, the strings vibrating with a simple song. The valley sultan closes her eyes, letting the music wash over her. It is a lullaby from her own childhood, sung by a slave girl long gone. Memories stir within her, memories of a younger self and a different era. The palace was new then, and the Ottomans, though mighty, were not the unassailable force they had become. But still, the foundations were strong, the walls were high, and the Sultan's power was growing. She remembers the day her son, the Sultan, was born, how the entire palace rejoiced. The valid sultans before her had borne daughters, but this new arrival was heir to a vast empire. As the melody drifts on, she thinks of the life that has been hers, the intrigues, the rivalries, the loves and losses. Now only the music remains, and the echoes of a life well lived. Elsewhere, children of the dynasty sleep. Their beds are covered with fine silks, their dreams guarded by quiet nurses. The babes of the imperial line slumber peacefully, their tiny chests rising and falling. One stirs in his sleep, murmuring a name, perhaps of a father he has seen only from afar, a ruler too busy to attend to his youngest son. Still, the boy dreams of horses and hunts, of the vast grounds of the palace and the thrill of the chase. His cradle is beside a window, and through the lattice work, the moonlight paints silver bars on his closed eyelids. The nurse watches him, her heart aching with a mother's tenderness. She has borne no children of her own, but in serving this babe, she finds a purpose and a peace. As the night deepens, she hums a soft tune, a song from her own home, a land far from this gilded cage. The song weaves tales of rolling hills and vineyards, of festivals and feasts. Though she is far from home, the memory of it keeps her spirit light. The corridors outside the sleeping chambers remain watched by eunuchs, their dark forms gliding through the shadows. They are the Sultan's shield, loyal and watchful, ensuring the peace of the harem. They move silently, lanterns in hand, their faces unreadable, their movements as quiet as the falling of snow. They are the unseen guardians of the night, their presence felt but never intrusive. The very air they breathe is seasoned with duty and discretion. Generations of eunuchs have walked these same halls, their silent service forming the bedrock of the harem's tranquility. The Sultan himself rests in his private chambers. The vast room is quiet save for the crackling of a brazier, its embers glowing in the darkness. Ink stands ready on a low table. Brushes lie poised over fine paper. Tomorrow, the Sultan will write his memoirs, recording the events of the day for posterity. But tonight, rest claims him. He sits on a high divan, cushioned and ornate, its silk surface cool beneath him. Before him, a small Quran rests on a stand, its verses whispering tales of old. He traces the words with his finger, seeking solace in the familiar script. The faith of Islam is the bedrock of his rule, its teachings guiding his every move, even in the solitude of the night. The call to prayer echoes faintly from distant mosques, mingling with the whisper of the wind. The Sultan closes his eyes, letting the words and the wind weave a tapestry of peace around him. From his window, he can see the waters of the Bosphorus stretching out like an inky ribbon under the moon. On the far shore, the faint lights of Galata twinkle, a silent salute to the sleepless Sultan. Below him, the palace gardens are dark and still. The fountains have been silenced for the night, and the clipped hedges offer no more shade. Above, the sky is a canvas of inky black, sprinkled with diamonds. The stars seem close enough to touch, their cold light pouring down on the sleeping city. Here, amidst the opulence and power, the Sultan finds a rare moment of calm. The empire he rules stretches for thousands of miles, its borders touched by 3 continents. Its armies are the envy of the world, and its treasury is vast. Yet tonight his world is quiet, reduced to the stillness of ink, prayer, and sleep. Past midnight, the palace grows more silent still. The bustling bazaars of Istanbul have fallen quiet, their merchants tucked into bed, their wares packed away till the morning. The sea laps gently against the palace walls, a constant rhythm in the stillness of the night. From the library, a soft light spills out, beckoning scholars to delve into ancient texts. Within these hallowed halls are gathered the records of empires long gone, the secrets of forgotten sciences, and the whispers of poets from ages past. Tonight, one lucky scholar lingers, turning the pages of a manuscript illuminated with gold. The vellum is brittle with age, and the ink has faded in places, yet the words burn bright in the lamplight. He reads of Seljuks, of Persians, of Rome. Time seems to melt away as he traces the stories etched in ink, each page a portal to a vanished world. Around him, countless stories slumber, waiting for another eager reader. For here, in the palace library, the past is never truly gone. It lives on in the musty scent of old books, in the gilding that flakes like autumn leaves, and in the whispered echoes of ages past. The scholar leans back, a smile touching his lips. To be surrounded by such treasures is a luxury, a privilege. He knows that in the grand tapestry of history he is but a small thread. Yet tonight, within these four walls, he feels as if he might be holding the very essence of time in his hands. Outside, the breeze dances with the scent of night-blooming jasmine. Petals drift on the current, carried to far corners of the palace grounds. Their fragrance mingles with the sound of crickets and the distant lapping of waves against the city walls. Somewhere, a fountain weeps softly, its water spilling into a marble basin, its voice joining the chorus of night sounds. The soft rush of the sea is ever present, a constant reminder of the empire's maritime might. Tonight it whispers tales of far-off lands, of spice-laden galleys and hidden coves. For Topkapi Palace was built on the edge of the world, where east met west and the known world ended at the doorstep of the Sultan. The sea brought him riches, yes, but also whispers of lands unknown, of cities that glittered under alien moons and followed faiths other than his own. The crashing of waves on distant shores echoed within these very walls, bringing the world to the Sultan's doorstep, even as he slept. As the last lamps burn low, and the waters of the Bosphorus shine under the stars, the palace sleeps. The city beyond sleeps. The empire, vast and powerful, rests under the watchful gaze of night. And so, as the night drifts on, the palace breathes softly, like a living thing. Every chamber, every courtyard, every lamplit path carries centuries of memory. Topkapi has seen triumph and sorrow, ceremony and silence. Yet tonight, like so many nights before, it remains timeless, a place of whispers, of stillness, of the eternal flow of empire beneath the crescent moon. The story of the great Ottoman Empire, which began here within these walls, continues to unfold, shaped by the whispers of the night. For within this seemingly timeless haven, the seeds of change are always being sown, carried on the winds of trade, war, and diplomacy. And though the palace sleeps, the future stirs, waiting for the dawn to paint the sky with the colors of a new day. This has been your host, and until next time, may your days be rich in stories and your nights filled with restful dreams.